This is a lesson on how to use interval notation. So taking a look at this first example, what we really have are the numbers that are greater than or equal to 4 and less than or equal to 6. This would be set builder notation. For interval notation, if we have an open circle, a closed circle like we have here, we're going to put a bracket, and we're going to put the number where that closed circle is, and then we have another closed circle with a bracket. This says exactly the same thing. So again, this represents the closed circle, and it's the numbers from 4 to 6. So this is a little bit different. Still going to work with the numbers from 5 to 8. So this would be 5 is less than x is less than or equal to 8. The difference between this one, other than the values of the numbers here, would be that the 5 is not equal to. There's no equal to part for that. So all we're going to do, we're going to have the 5, 8. We know now that this closed circle here is going to get a bracket. For the open circle, we're going to put a parenthesis. So this would be from 5 to 8, not including the 5, but including the 8. Last one on this page. So we have from 9 to 12, set builder. 9 is less than x is less than 12. Neither of them are equal because they're open circles. 9, 12, parenthesis. Now, you might look at that and say that's just like an ordered pair, and it does look an awful lot like that, but it is in interval notation, and that's what those values would look like. So that's what you do if you have a segment like any of these three. Sometimes you'll have a situation like one of these. So we're looking at the top one. We have a value here at -1. So we're going to have -1. That's the start of my graph up there. And it's an open circle, so I'm going to put a parenthesis. Anytime you have an arrow, that goes on forever until you get to positive infinity on this side. So we're going to graph, our graph's going to go to infinity, so I'm going to put an infinity in my parentheses here. And since I'm never actually going to get there, because you can always add 1 to infinity and get to a new number, it's going to be a parenthesis and not a bracket. So looking at this one down here, we have two parts. We have this part. Well, this chunk of this graph goes towards negative infinity. This one goes to -1. This one goes to 1. This one goes to positive infinity. So really going to identify those 4 parts that it goes to, and we're going to put them in parentheses or brackets. So the -1 has a closed circle, so it's going to be a bracket. The +1 is going to be a parenthesis. So that's a little bit confusing. Let me get rid of that 1 there. Okay, and that would be the answer for the red graph down below. One more for good measure. A little different here. What we're looking at are, well, this value is negative infinity. Here it's 10. I'm not going to rewrite that again. And this value is positive infinity. So the trick to this one is that you start at negative infinity, you stop for a second at 10. So there's 1/2 of it right there. So I'm going to do that separately. It's negative infinity to positive 10. It's an open circle, so I put a parenthesis. Then I'm going to repeat the process. I'm going to go back to 10 and go onward to positive infinity. So it's going to be open at 10 and go towards infinity and be open. That's interval notation.